As a follow-up to my Sunburst chart video, I wanted to see if I can take a regular donut chart and convert it to look like a Sunburst chart. So the question is, can you convert a donut chart into a Sunburst chart? The short answer is yes, but the long answer is it's complicated. Let me tell you why. So first, let's quickly recap what we learned about Sunburst chart. Let's consider this data. For example, we have financial data by quarters. So we have 4 quarters and then we have 12 months, and one of the months is split by 4 weeks. In the last column, we have the actual sales data. A Sunburst chart is a good visualization to show this data. So if I go to insert, select a Sunburst chart and paste my data from previous table, the chart would look like this. The Sunburst chart, of course, has a ton of limitations. It is a very rigid chart. Here are its limitations. Firstly, you cannot change the position of the chart title or the legend. You cannot even resize the legend. These are fixed. You cannot increase or decrease the plot area within the chart area. So this inner rectangle is also fixed. Specifically for the chart, you cannot increase or decrease the hole size, which you can easily do in a donut chart. You cannot resize the donut sections. You cannot rotate this chart. So the orientation of our chart is fixed. When it comes to data labels, you can only show data labels for the outer ring, which is the leaf section. If there are no leaves, then the data would automatically be shown for the stems. You cannot show the data label for the inner branch circle. In terms of changing the colors, you can change certain colors, like if there is an isolated stem like this or a leaf, you can change the colors for that. However, you cannot change the color for just the branch alone. Also, if a stem is attached to a leaf, you cannot change the color for the stem segment. If I try to change this color by going here, it changes the color for the whole segment. So all in all, this is a very restrictive chart, which is why I wanted to see if I can take the donut chart and convert it into a Sunburst chart, so I can get all the customization benefits that come with a donut chart. So as a fun exercise, I created this donut chart that looks identical to our Sunburst chart. You can get to donut chart by going to insert, then clicking on chart, and then selecting this last option under pie menu. So you can see that we have all the options we get with a donut chart available for this chart. So if I double click on the chart and double click again, go to series options, on the right hand side we can change the angle of rotation. So I can rotate my chart. I can even increase or decrease the donut hole size, which ends up increasing or decreasing the donut segment widths. I can enable the data labels for all the segments here, unlike the Sunburst charts, which only shows the leaf values. Here I can change colors for any segment, so even a branch segment. So if I just select the branch segment for this blue part and come here and change, I can move my chart title freely. I can resize my chart by changing the size of my plot area. So you might ask me, hey, if the donut chart allows us to do all the things that a Sunburst chart doesn't, what is the problem? Why are we not using the donut chart, and why even the Sunburst chart exists? Well, the answer to that is twofold. First, if I look at the data sheet for this chart, this is how it looks. So in the first column, we have the labels, but in the second, third, and fourth column, we just have values. Let's compare that to the table for a Sunburst chart. In the first 3 columns, we just have labels and the values are only present in the last column. What that means is, in order for our donut chart to look a certain way, the values have to be entered like this. Also, you will have to do a few calculations to get the data in this format. So here I have added up the quarterly numbers and put them here in the quarter column. Similarly, the month values are shown in a specific way. So to get this look, I had to spend some time in trial and error. If you think that's not a big deal, the main issue, which is the second biggest issue of this chart, is it does not come with the chart labels. You will see these labels here: week 1, week 2, week 3, and Jan, Feb, March. I have added these manually, which can be really time consuming. Because it was taking me some time, I just chose not to add them for here, because I realize it's for demonstration purpose, so why spend additional 10-15 minutes to do that? So you can imagine in real life scenario, if you were to do this, you will end up spending quite a lot of time adding these labels. And because these are manual, anytime you change your chart, so let's say if we change the rotation of our chart, you will see that the labels stay in place, but the chart underneath moves. So then you'll have to again go and fix these labels, which can be annoying and time consuming. Let me fix that. So while the Doughnut chart provides a lot of customization options, these two issues alone can be a deal breaker for some, which is the reason why I think most people would not prefer to use a Doughnut chart to get a Sunburst chart kind of a functionality. So in summary, whether you should use a Doughnut chart for a Sunburst chart, well, the answer is it depends. If a basic Sunburst chart serves its purpose for what you're trying to do, go with it. However, if you are trying to push the Sunburst chart to its boundaries, the default option is not going to cut it, in which case I would highly recommend you explore the Doughnut chart. But a word of caution, just go into it knowing that you will have to spend some time in making it work for you. So I hope you found this video useful. Please leave a like and subscribe for future videos, and I will catch you next time.